Kirby, the pink powerhouse, the puff with the most buff, but most importantly, the man of many talents. Kirby's like a really diverse Pokemon. He can have many different types. Well, in this case, copy abilities, which he must use to defeat enemies and save his world. Kirby's wide array of copy abilities are the main reason why I love the franchise so much. So today, I'm counting down not my top 10, but my top 20 favorite Kirby copy abilities, because there are just so many that I want to talk about. But before we start, there's something you should know. I'm only really a fan of the more contemporary Kirby games, so don't be surprised if you don't see very many abilities that are exclusive to the classic games on this list. Also, as always, this is purely my subjective opinion and no one else's. Alright, that's it for this intro, so poyo! That means let's get started. Kicking off this list is Beetle. Basically, Beetle Kirby is like Mega Heracross's second cousin once removed. He likes to make rapid, powerful strikes with his horn, and he can even fly around with his wings instead of puffing. He can also use his horn to grab and throw enemies, which is, for some reason, really fun. More on that later. Hint hint, nudge nudge. Also, Horn Flurry is good for damage racking, and a lot of his other moves, Rocket Horn Dive, Spiral Horn, and Hard Head Slam, are great for dealing heavy damage. And since the horn is quite big, his copy ability also has really good reach. However, its main problem is that it lacks any projectile or long-ranged attacks, meaning you always have to be up close. But despite that one flaw, this ability is really fun, especially for the kind of player who likes getting in their opponent's faces. That's all enough to earn it a spot on this list. Nineteenth place is Needle. Huh, who knew Kirby was into porcupines? With this one, all Kirby has to attack with are spikes that grow out of his body. Simple? Yes. Useless? No. Boring? Hell no! This copy ability has good range and even better reach. Needle Attack is a good shield. Needle Burst and Falling Spine are both really fun to spam, and Mega Needle has really good vertical reach. Also, in Return to Dreamland, Rolling Needle is really fun to use. Whatever reason they had for taking it out in Triple Deluxe, I really hope it comes back sometime. Sorry, that's all I can really say. Honestly, since this ability is so simple, there's not much to it. But again, that doesn't mean it's not awesome. It's quite fun and useful, and therefore, it earns 19th place. But can it also earn me a time-killing epilogue, though? Cutting into 18th place is Cutter. With this one, Kirby can throw blades that behave like boomerangs. After he throws them, they'll come back, and by tilting the joystick, you can control which way the blades fly. Basically, this one, although a bit awkward to control, just has really good range, and is great for hitting from a distance. However, for those who enjoy closer range battling, Cutter Kirby does have a few moves for that. Cleaving Cutter and Final Cutter are both great up close attacks, and Cutter Dash, Sweep Cutter, and Cutter Drop are all good in their own right as well. But despite how good Cutter is up close, it really works better as a long range ability. The awkward controls do hinder it a little, and it may be fairly simple, but still, it's great both close range and long range, the latter especially, so therefore, it makes 18th place on this list. Seventeenth place is Yoyo. Who invited Ness to the party? Anyway, with this one, Kirby's basically using a toy as a weapon, but this toy is definitely not your average toy. With it, Kirby has many useful, powerful attacks, including Yo-Yo Orbits, which is a great get-off-me move, Rock the Dog and Dog Walker, which are perfect for damage racking on stationary enemies, Break Spin, which has pretty good horizontal range, Gazer Spiral, which has a lot of vertical reach, and Hammer Drop, which just looks really cool. He does have some other attacks, but the ones I named are the most fun and useful. However, despite all these great moves, Yo-Yo's biggest flaw is its lack of range. For this ability to work to its full potential, Kirby pretty much has to be up close at all times, but that's the only real flaw. So, Yo-Yo easily gets 17th place, yo. Throwing itself into 16th place is Suplex. Are you one of those people who just loves to throw stuff? If so, then Suplex is the copy ability for you. With the exception of Pinpoint Kick, Suplex Kirby's attacks mainly involve grabbing enemies and chucking them like ragdolls. I don't know why, but there's just something about throwing enemies all over the place that's so flipping fun. Also, in Star Allies, he can use a move called Friend Throw. In case you can't tell from the name, Kirby can grab his allies and throw them all over the stage, causing a ton of damage to all present enemies. And guess what? Your allies don't take any damage from this. And as for the Pinpoint Kick move I mentioned earlier, it can be really fun to spam this move, and aside from throwing recoil stars, it's his only attack that'll damage bosses. I think I've made it pretty clear. Suplex is a very fun copy ability. Its simplicity does hold it back a bit, but disregard that. 16th place is all it's. Slicing into 15th place is Sword. Now he's copying Link? Is it me, or is Kirby a real copycat? Anyway, this one's an old classic, and has appeared in pretty much every single Kirby game. Kirby can slash with his sword in so many different ways to affect several different types of enemies. Sword Beam, although only usable at full health, has great range. Drill Stab and Sword Spin are quite fast. Chop and Thrust and Hat Thrust are good spamming attacks, especially for airborne enemies. Upward Slash has good vertical range, and Down Thrust and Sword Dive are quite powerful. Spin Slash and Twister Slash are also great multi-hit attacks. But despite all these useful slashes, like Yoyo, Sword is held back by its overall lack of range, since it's an almost entirely close range ability, but all the good things about it are why I give it 15th place. Can't beat the OG. Sneaking into 14th place is Ninja. This is one of Kirby's most versatile copy abilities. It has a variety of unique, useful attacks that come in handy in many different situations. Knife Throw has great horizontal range, Stealth Slash is very fast, Smokescreen and Blossom Storm are great get-off-me moves, and Ninja Kick is similar to Suplex's Pinpoint Kick. It's a quite basic, but for some reason, really fun move to spam. However, there's more beyond this. Ninja Kirby can cling to walls and even use Knife Throw during, and he can also use techniques while guarding called Hide Guard and Smoke Counter, which are great for avoiding damage from enemy attacks. In a nutshell, this one makes Kirby really fast and stealthy, with a lot of sneaky moves, tricks, and maneuvers, which is typical of any ninja. All that indubitably gives Ninja 14th place. Thirteenth place is Fighter. Like Ninja, Fighter Kirby has a whole bunch of versatile, unique, and useful attacks at his disposal. Vulcan Jab is great for damage racking and can be fun to spam. Spin Kick, Smash Punch, Double Kick, and Giga Force Blast all have great power and horizontal range. Rising Break has great vertical range, and Sky Kick is very similar to Suplex's Pinpoint Kick. Speaking of Suplex, Fighter Kirby also has quite a few grabbing and throwing attacks that are very similar to that of Suplex's. Despite being inspired by a type of close range fighting, Fighter Kirby doesn't suffer from deficit of range, especially with Giga Force Blast, and all his other moves are very fun and useful in their own ways, so I think it's pretty clear. Fighter is easily the winner of 13th place. Twelfth place goes to Spear. Let me just say this right away, this is quite an epic concept for a Kirby copy ability. Also, Spear has a few attacks that are similar to a few of Sword's. Multi-Spear attack is a multi-jab that's quite fast and good for damage racking, and Moondrop is a stall then fall that has a lot of raw power. And as for the rest, Skyward Thrust has good vertical reach, Spear Barrage has good range and is great for hitting airborne enemies, and Spear Copter is not a very practical attacking move, but is, in turn, a very potent defensive move, working kind of like a head shield. Overall, this one's just really fun, especially when used against the right kind of enemy. Like I said before, Spear Barrage is great against airborne enemies, and that move is just really fun to spam. Back Thrust is a bit useless, but forget that one minor con. All of its pros earn Spear 12th easily. Eleventh place is Leaf. This one gives Kirby a lot of long-range attacks that can hit enemies very far away. The best example of this is Leaf Attack, in which Kirby throws leaves that travel very far. Also, Leaf Swirl, Leaf Scatter, and Leaf Dance are good get-off-me attacks, and Leaf Uppercut and Leaf Rain have good vertical range, both up and down, respectively. And finally, Leaf Kirby can use Leaf Hide to become completely impervious to all enemy attacks. Sorry, that's all there is to it. Yeah, Leaf Kirby may not have as long a list of attacks as some other copy abilities, but even so, the few he does have are all very useful and fun, and it's also unique, since unlike a lot of other copy abilities, it works better from a distance rather than up close, and it's also a really good defensive ability. Therefore, Leaf is amazing enough to win itself 11th place.